family. We've seen that so many times. Somebody coming along is not going to realize what's going on. There's a car right there that potentially could have been involved.
Yeah. It's lunchtime.
Oh, here we come.
Here comes another pit
attempt.
attempt.
She's on someone's lawn.
Was that an effect of a pit? Her pulling off?
No, I think that was a mistake. But look at her here. Now, I'm about 4 seconds behind you, Steve, on the view here. But, but I'll tell you though that was
yes, scary.
Yeah. Overdriving, making mistakes. Again, the effects of that adrenaline rush. That that you get very tired, you get very fatigued from this.
Well, with the adrenaline and with being fatigued, there may well be the attitude of I don't care what happens. And when you get to I don't care what happens, this could affect other people.
You know, that's true. And I got to tell you, many of the folks that I've arrested actually. At the end of these pursuits, you ask them when we get them back to the station, why didn't you stop? And they'll honestly tell you, I couldn't. I was afraid.
Yeah.
I feel like they're in deep.
Well, it's once you start this, you just don't know how to disengage, and they don't know how to stop. And that sounds odd, but that's the explanation they have.
This has been going on about half an hour right now. It's a woman in that car being pursued. It started on the 605, came through downtown. This is an area near downtown right now, down South L.A. Residential streets, really speeding at this moment. She has been able to evade a couple of moments where it appeared she was boxed in or trapped.
Yeah, at this time right now, I'm sure their watch commanders they're probably watching this on the air as well as we are, and this is a very, very high priority for them right now because this is very dangerous in these streets.
All right, this is that was 56 that she was south on, now going back north again.
Notice how narrow these streets are with cars parked on both sides. Now she's approaching another car, and again, all you have to do is have someone going the opposite direction. It's amazing that her luck has not run out, Steve.
There's an intersection.
Or someone else's.
Yes.
You know, as we watch these, both the viewers and as we watch this, we have to realize that, there's a good possibility this is not going to end well.
They never do.
That is the fear. I mean, often they do end well, but sometimes they end tragically. And that's the thing that we fear when we watch this. We know what's going on, but there are people who will be walking down the street or driving in their cars. They don't have a clue what's going on.
And a lot of times people will see the helicopter overhead. One of the advantages to that is when they see that helicopter that they do realize something's going on. And remember, here we go, almost another pit attempt there. But remember, the officers in the helicopter are broadcasting to the ground units what their traffic is ahead of them. So they know when there's a car converging, and a lot of times I've been in a helicopter many times where you just see it converging and you're helpless. There's nothing you can do, and right in that intersection.
That was South Vermont that she just turned off of.
South Vermont, okay.
Back on a residential street.
Back into the streets there, residential.
Under the freeway. All right, we're getting an update here. This apparently started in Duarte, and we've been talking about one woman in the car. Now the belief is that there are 3 people in that car we're looking at. How does that change the dynamic, Jim Holcomb?
Well, significantly, and at the very beginning I kind of thought it was odd that one woman would be in there, but now we really have to consider the likelihood that one of those 3 people is a serious offender and probably someone who's going to be going back to jail, and they're calling the shots. And again, now in the end game, this is why we're seeing perhaps them not getting so aggressive or so close on the pit maneuver, because you're going to have 3 suspects to deal with at the end of this thing.
That was close.
That truck came close. And
Oh,
goodness. We had gotten a report earlier that this was a burglary attempt, which is how it got started, and there was a gun taken. So potentially these 3 people in the car could be armed.
Correct, and that's always the assumption by officers anyway. Whether we're in a pursuit or not, we always have to assume that there's going to be a weapon involved.
Well, you have to go to worst case scenario under any circumstances, even on a traffic stop.
Correct, and as a thing as this progresses, you start to wonder what is the end game going to be. Are they going to have the guy going to bail out and start running all different directions, or are they just going to get out and lay down? So it's very tense at the end.
Well, also wonder, with this report, there are 3 people. If all 3 are in agreement what they're doing, if they're fighting among themselves about what to do here.
No, and you know that's a very good point.
Cop is getting out of the car
Here we
here.
go. Okay.
All right, we may be at the end game right now. There, as you said, Jim, there's somebody running. There goes a black and white down the street. That's one person.
Okay, so they got one person drawing resources away from the stop, and back down through an alley. And remember, I'm about 2 seconds.
There's a
Okay.
dog,
Yeah,
assuming it's a police dog. Maybe not.
this guy's really moving too.
Jump the fence.
Yeah, up on the roof, over there in the back. There he goes.
I don't know what's happening at the back at the car scene.
Now we only got one set of eyes,
Yeah.
but you know you have to assume if they went in all 3 different directions, it's a circus out there.
All right, the woman is in custody. The driver is in custody. And this,
Like he's going inside of a window or something, perhaps. Might be breaking in a window there at the house, tearing a screen off. I can't quite tell.
all right, Jim, we have the 3 people. The woman's in custody. The other 2 are still at large. We're seeing one here who is either hiding behind the tree or is trying to break into the house we're looking at, the building
Yeah,
we're
it
looking
appeared
at.
that he pulled a screen off. He might have gone inside that house. And like we said at the beginning, this is a bad, worst scenario.
Yeah. Especially if he's armed.
Can't quite get a view there, but it looks like he might have gone inside of a window there. You've got officers right now setting up a perimeter. They're going to, of course, deploy on that block, and they're going to also make sure people don't come into the area as well as the suspect doesn't get out.
Would they be telling people around there to stay in or evacuate?
Well, right now you can see they're setting up their perimeter right now. 2 of the cars are just to the top of the screen are looking for the next intersection. They want to cordon off the outer perimeter, make sure they got a good tight inner perimeter, and if he doesn't come out, then eventually they're going to start working to evacuate the residents on all 4 sides, so that they have some room to work. But that'll be further down the road because we don't know whether he has a friendly person in there, or whether he's just broken into a random house. That's those things aren't known.
So the woman driver is in custody. There are 2 other people at large at this moment. We're focusing on one there. We don't know about the second one, where that person might be.
And again, like you pointed out, see, we're just watching one part of the story. There's obviously another part somewhere else, and who knows what's going on over there. This is how suspects split the resources of law enforcement, and this is critical. We saw them do it in a recent pursuit the other day, and we're starting to see it a little bit more. And these folks get together and talk, Steve. They talk about what works and what doesn't work.
And when we were watching the pursuit, we could see 1 or 2 black and whites, but there were, I assume, many others in the area.
Yeah, normally there's two units in the pursuit, and this one there may have been more because there was multiple suspects. But there's many units in the area, and as soon as this guy goes to ground and he starts running, most officers will immediately start deploying.
And they'll converge.
So we're focusing on this house right now. We don't know if he's gotten inside the house, or if he's outside somewhere, if he has a connection to this house, or if he just broke in. If so, the people inside are in for a big surprise.
Yeah, we got somebody's walking out of one of the houses there at the lower portion of the screen, but I guess we can't get around that house. I'm not quite sure where that is in proximity to LAX. It may be difficult to get around on the airspace. It's right near their airspace over there.
All right, this is in South LA, south of downtown. It was around 56th Street before, and as you can see the activity going on as more and more officers converge on the area. And as Jim Holken is saying, they basically set up a perimeter so that if this guy gets out, he's not going to get beyond the perimeter. We don't know of the whereabouts of one other person from the car. We do know the driver, the one we were calling the woman, is in custody right now. All of this began about 45 minutes ago, apparently in Duarte, and ended up here south of downtown in South LA.
As you can see, that air unit is really close, really trying to keep him in that.
Jim, excuse me, we're getting word now that one of the male suspects is in custody, which would leave it, if the arithmetic is right on this, to one person out. And are we looking at it right there? I think we are.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, we are.
Yeah. So they got him pretty quick. I guess he just didn't get inside that house.
So we think this was the guy from the house.
It sure appeared to be. He's dressed the same way, and there was only one person running. So it certainly appears to me he's the same person we saw running.
So that would indicate at this point 2 down, 1 to go, if indeed there were 3 people in the suspect car.
That's correct. Now we don't know what's going on back at the where the car stopped, but
Well, the good thing here is that ended uneventfully.
yeah.
They got the woman driver in custody that uneventfully. Nobody hurt.
No accidents.
Yeah, no accidents.
Just one lawn torn up, and that wasn't bad.
No.
And now, as we go back with our camera to the scene of where the car was stopped and ended.
Yeah, that's there's your termination of your pursuit.
And there's the vehicle right there with the open door of the blue car.
So we still have one suspect outstanding.
That's
Is that
what
correct?
we understand at this point. Although, looking, as we always do, at the body language of the officers, they're pretty relaxed at this point.
Yeah, but they're here at the scene. I don't know. We don't know how far away this other person may have gotten. Like this suspect we were previously looking at. He was already, about a block and a half, almost 2 blocks away. But
Now notice these vehicles, Jim. You take a look. The vehicles have come down. I think is that Vermont, and gone to the side street. I wonder if there's something going on there.
that looked like a supervisor's car there. That's probably going down there to see what's going on with the other suspect. But you see the air unit concentrating on this one area. If there was a suspect still outstanding, I would anticipate the air unit would be in a tight orbit around that other area. So,
All right, Jim
they have
Holcomb, thank you for your assistance. Where we are with this is there were 3 people, 2 in custody. 1 is still being searched for. We'll bring you up to date as this develops as we go through the course of the day. But we're going to cut away